computer. So I record in case you can't make it one week. It is summertime and it's beautiful out. There might be other things happening one day. So if you have to miss, it's not a huge deal. I send the video about a couple hours after the class. It takes a little time to upload. All right. So everyone saw our picture for today, right? Give me a thumbs up if you saw the picture. We're going to be doing a thumbs up system. It's the picture of the cat. So I'll be asking you different things throughout the class, and you'll just give me a thumbs up if you agree, or a thumbs down if you don't agree. And we'll do that. All right, everyone has a pencil, right? Yeah, thumbs up. All right. Oh, something just popped up on my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna be using my Sharpie marker to start with. You guys are gonna be using a pencil. The reason for this is if I use a pencil right now and start drawing on my paper, you won't be able to see it on the camera. So I use a Sharpie so that you guys can see what I'm doing. We're gonna be completely step by step. You're using a pencil so that you can make erasures later if you'd like to. And then we're gonna trace over our pencil lines with the Sharpie, okay? All right, so I just wanna make sure that my picture is in full view. We're gonna be turning our white piece of paper so that it is horizontal, which looks like this. Okay, this is vertical, this is horizontal. You want your picture horizontal, okay? I know you can't really see that in my screen. I'm working on adjusting it for you. It's a little tricky. I have a little tripod set up, but it's just a little tricky. Okay, everyone ready to draw? Give me a thumbs up if you are, or do it step by step completely. All right. So first thing that I'm gonna have you guys do is grab something in your room that has a flat edge, okay? So it could be a book, it could be a stack of paper. I'm gonna use this. This has a really nice flat edge. So you need something with a flat edge. Can you guys all grab something like that really quickly? Yes? All right, Sarah, you have a question, right? Yes, a ruler works too. Perfect. I just said that because I wasn't sure if everyone had a ruler or not. Okay, I'm gonna show you what to do. I'm actually gonna use a flat edge or a straight edge for mine. What you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be placing that straight edge towards the top of your picture, about, for parents, maybe 3 inches or so from the top of your picture, okay? I know it's a little hard to see. All right, so you're going to be making your line, but you're not gonna make it completely across your screen. What you're going to do is you're gonna start it midway. So I just wanna show you what I did. So you might not wanna do it just yet. So you see, I left a little bit of space. Okay, so everyone please do that, and then give me a thumbs up once you have done that. I'm just looking around, and I'll just look for your thumbs up. I'm just working with my little tripod to make sure you guys can all see. All right, everyone did it? Thumbs up? All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep in pace with you guys. All right, so now I am in the bottom left corner of my screen. Okay, I know it's hard to see it in the picture. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to start about right here, and I'm going to make a round line that goes to the bottom of my picture. That's gonna be the bottom of a palm tree, but don't close that line, okay? So it's very, very, very step by step. And then give me a thumbs up once you have that. All right, awesome. Here's what we're gonna do. Imagine that you continue drawing on that line, but don't draw. What you're gonna do is leave about 1 inch, make a little dot. You see I just made like a little dot there. And now what I'm gonna do is continue. All right. And I'm going to draw the top of my palm tree. So this part of the palm tree might hit that line that I made before. Now, of course, you have an eraser in case you need to erase anything. It's not a big deal. We're just having fun. Okay. So now for this part, this is still my palm tree. See, it goes off the page a little bit. So just imagine that it keeps going and then, see what I did there? Okay. And now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to come back. And then I'll make one going like that. And like that. And just like that. So it connects with the tree. See that? All right. And then give me a thumbs up once you have that. All right. Am I going too fast for anyone? If I am going too fast, give me a thumbs up. Sometimes it's hard to gauge when I'm teaching virtually. So I just want to make sure. And that's always fine. We have a lot of time. Okay. And I always say the winner in art is the slowest, not the fastest. So it's different than other sports. That's not really a sport. All right, so just take your time here. I'm going to usually be a half a step ahead of you guys so that you can see where you're going next. So I feel like it's my job to do that because I'm working at all different paces. And then once you have that, just give me a thumbs up. And a few people are working as parents in me teams. So that's also great.
Excuse me.
This class is very open for that.
Excuse me.
Do not interrupt.
I'm not catched up.
Who, I'm not sure who's talking. I'm so sorry. I don't see on my screen.
It's Sarah. Sorry, she's just.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? You know what? Her video is not on. I can't,
Yeah, we took it off because she's.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? I'm so sorry.
I'm here.
Is it going a little fast for you? I never want to stress anyone out with art. To me, art is for, you know, relaxing.
It's okay. Look, you're going to do it, okay?
Yeah, and you guys can always, you can always look back at the video. Oh, I'm really sorry I went too fast. I'm trying to go at a good pace for everyone. I don't mean to rush anyone ever.
No, she's okay. It's fine.
I know.
Here, look, you're caught up. See?
Okay.
No, I'm not. There's still so much.
You're caught up.
No, I'm not.
Here, come here.
I'm not going to move on just yet. I'm going to give you guys another minute. And it's okay if you're a step or two behind us, because of our video, you can see where we're going. All right. Everyone ready? If you are, just give me a thumbs up. There may be times when I have to move on because we're constrained just to an hour and a half. That doesn't mean that you can't come back in your own time and work on things. I just want to make sure that I'm working at a good pace for everyone in the class, that's all. Okay? But you will get the video later. And it's not like school, no one's getting graded. This is for fun, you know? Just like playing in the pool or anything else you would do for fun. All right.
And most importantly, it doesn't have to look exactly the same. It could be
Thank
your own
you.
version.
Thank you. That's a great thing. I was just going to add that. So there's going to be parts where you guys can add your own personality, and I encourage you to do so. Okay? So even my picture is going to look different than the original. So we're just here to have fun. All right? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. I just want to kind of gauge. Awesome. We are going to move on. All right. So here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna just draw the bottom of the hammock. It's gonna look like a smiley face, okay? But I'm not gonna go all the way to the end of the page, so just bear with me here. So I'm only going to about there. I know that you feel like you want to complete that line, but don't, because we're gonna be putting some pretty flowers down here. So in this picture, we're gonna be learning a little bit about foreground, middle ground, and background, okay? Does anyone here know what foreground is? Give me a wave if you know what foreground is. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I might be teaching you something brand new. That's all right. So foreground is the things that are closest to us, okay? So in front of me right now, the closest thing to me is my computer. Further away is my window. My window is in the background, okay? There's also middle ground that I'll show you. So I'm gonna show you how to do that in your art. All right, so back to our picture here. This is the fun part for you all. What I'm gonna be doing is showing you how to make some pretty flowers, but you can make them any way you want. It's kind of like a coloring book picture. You just wanna make sure that there's shapes that you can paint inside of later. That's important because there's a big painting part for what we're doing today. All right, so I just drew one flower. I could draw another flower, just like this. You can make your flowers however you want. If you have a different vision for your flowers, that's great, and I encourage you. Okay, so we have another one there. And if you want to put more flowers than me, you can. The more you put, the more work it's going to be when we do painting later. Some people have taken painting classes with me before, and you might want to take challenges. So I will provide you guys with different challenges from week to week that you don't have to take. So watch what I'm going to do now. This is just from my picture. This is going to be the leaf behind the flower. So I'm going to put a lot of leaves behind them. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it could be really fun to do. The leaves are behind the flowers. You see that? So I don't draw through my flower. What I do is I imagine that that line is behind it, and I just kind of pick it up where it leaves off. Okay. So however you want to make your flowers and your leaves, you can. Maybe you want to put a vein in your leaf. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, the option is there. Okay. You can work slowly here. If you like, you can put on music. I recommend classical. I feel like classical is very good for concentration. Another thing, I want you guys to know that you don't have to have your video on during my class. I almost always have students that prefer to have their video off, and that's always okay. So just so you know that. Whoop. And is everyone having fun making their flowers, I hope? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Good. How are you doing, Sarah? Having fun with your flowers? I'm so glad. So I'm just gonna set up my little tripod. I've been holding my camera, but my arm's getting a little tired. I'm just trying to set it up so my whole picture's in view here. And it's proving to be a challenge. Maybe if I do it this side. No, still not there. Almost. There we go, almost. Getting there. So you all see where we're going. And Devin, how are you doing? Are you all finished? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay. We're going to give everyone another minute to finish up their flowers. And we're going to have some fun drawing our kitty soon. Anyone here love cats? Give me a thumbs up if you do. I have 2 cats. I have Snowy. He's older, and he's the color peach. And I have Rosie. She's a tuxedo, and she's beautiful. And she is still kind of a kitten. She's a year old. So she's growing out of her kittenhood, which is sad. Okay. All right, Lucia, I see you're finished. So the flowers are always something that you can come back to in a minute, but I'm going to show you how to finish making your hammock, and you can come back to your flowers, okay? I don't want to rush anyone. I just want to make sure that we have enough time set aside for the painting part. So you can always come back to your pictures at other times. You don't have to necessarily finish it with me. Some students work faster and some work slower. And remember, the slowest person in art wins the race. So even though I'm working a little faster, it's just because for the structure of our class, I need to be able to fit everything in, that's all, okay? So I'm never rushing you. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to be working on my hammock. I'm gonna also pause it halfway. So watch what I'm gonna do. The line runs not quite parallel. The line is gonna be a little bit less curved. So the bottom line was very curved. The top line, slightly less curved, and I stopped halfway. Okay? And once you have that line there, just give me a thumbs up because I'm going to show you guys how to make our cat. I'm going to make it really, really super simple. The most simple way. Good? Awesome. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be drawing my cat head right around here. Watch me first and then do it. So the cat's head lines up with the top of the hammock. So in art, I'm always looking for where things relate to other things, and that's how I'm able to figure out space. Okay, so you see that line touches the cat's face. All right, we just drew that. I'm not going to draw any details at all yet. We will soon. Once you have that cat's face, give me a thumbs up, please, so I know. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit more now. So right around the top of your cat's ear, right about there, let me make a little dot so you can see. I know it's hard to see on the camera. I made a little dot. I'm going to have a curved line, all right, and it's going to go up, and it's going to come down, just like that. And then once you have that, just give me a thumbs up. It's one step at a time. Good, everyone? Okay. Now I'm going to make a line down here. You'll see what I do first. All right, it's gonna start right around the bottom of your cat's face. Okay, it's gonna be a paw. Just kind of goes like that. I'll show you where it goes to. Okay. No details just yet. All right. So the next part, I'm going to be completing my hammock. Okay. I'll show you how I do that. So just watch me first. It's gonna start right at the top of the kitty cat's armpit, I guess. If it has an armpit. I don't know, do cats have armpits? Okay, so the line kind of continues in the same direction it was going. So we started like this, it's gonna continue. So watch what I do first. It's also going to touch the bottom of your cat. See that? Here's the part where you may need your eraser. If you made a line too long or too short, you can fix it here. That's why we don't work in Sharpie first, because I'm gonna say for most projects, there's gonna be times where you have to erase. Okay, I'm asking to unmute you, Sarah. Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear you because you're muted. Here you are.
My flowers aren't tall enough.
That's okay. So you can use your eraser and you can make them in your vision the way that you want to make them. You have that freedom here. They don't have to look just like mine. They can look completely different than mine, and I encourage that. Have fun with it. Okay. How you doing, Sophie? Doing good? All right. So I'm going to keep working on the cat with you guys. Watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make his tail coming up right on the hammock. Watch what I do. So the cat is kind of half behind our hammock. That's how I see it anyway. All right. And what I'm going to do is put little triangles in my cat's ears. They can be soft triangles, so they don't have to come to a hard point at the top. They can be a little bit rounded. And looking around at everyone. I'm going to show you how to make his face soon. In like a minute. All right, anyone ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay. So I'm just gonna show you how to make your cat's face. You can always catch up in a minute if you're not there yet. If you're still working on your flowers, you can come back to them. And we're gonna have time to trace our lines in a minute too. So you'll have a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm just drawing the eyes like this. When we paint later, we might actually paint over some of these shapes. We're drawing them to help us. They're kind of like our blueprints. For the nose, I'm just gonna make like a little oval. I'm not even gonna draw the mouth. I'm gonna draw a couple whiskers. And I'm really just following the picture that I picked for us. How'd you guys do with the face? We're actually almost done with the drawing steps. And this is probably the hardest part for most of us. Okay. Remember, not too much detail. I'm gonna put a couple of coconuts in my tree here. They're literally circles. Let me show you. I'm just gonna pull my tree into view. So there's my tree. I'm just gonna put two. They could be pretty large like mine. There's one. And I can draw my next one kind of connected to that one. I actually overlapped them a little bit. See what I did there? So it looks like this one here is in front of that one. But if you make yours as two separate circles that are not connected or overlapping, that's fine too. Make it your own. Let's have some fun. And then we're actually up to our very last part of the drawing. Okay. How did everyone do with their cat's face and their coconuts? Did you guys do that? If you did, just give me a thumbs up. I just like to gauge where everyone is at. Good. Okay, awesome. All right. So I'm going to show you guys how to make the hills in the background. It looks like a bluff. It reminds me of Pirates Cove, if you've ever been there in Port Jefferson. All right. So I'm going to start it. Watch how I do this. I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to be showing background. So we know our tree is in the front here. All right. The hill is in the back. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a line kind of diagonal in between my tree here. See that? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that it connects, but it doesn't, you know? But I'm going to just imagine, because the line is going to keep going in the direction that it was going in. Okay, now it gets easy. So it looks almost like a mountain, and it could be a very organic looking line. Doesn't need to be a sharp geometrical shape or anything. Mine has these wiggles on it. See the wiggles? Okay. Let me know when you have that. Give me a thumbs up so I know. And I'm going to show you how to show the space and make one mountain in front of the other. Okay. So what I'm going to do is make a line, or I'll make a little dot somewhere around the wiggles, around the middle. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this is a bigger mountain. I'm going to start it like halfway. It's not really a mountain. I don't know if it's a hill or a mountain. Okay. And then we also have this shape under here. It kind of connects with that line. Okay. And I have another one of that same shape in my other mountain. And we just have to fix one last thing with our hammock. Kind of forgot about it. So I just want to show you really quick what I'm going to do with our hammock here. Starting right at the bottom, right where it connects with the tree, I'm going to make kind of like the bottom of a bow, I guess. I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's like where the hammock connects. Okay. And then it's kind of like a knot. If you can think of it as like a knot. There you go. See the hammock is kind of knotted. That's how I interpret it anyway. And guys, we are finished with our drawing part. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a few minutes. What you're going to do is use your Sharpie marker. You can use the thin one or a thicker one, whatever kind you like. You're going to trace all of your lines. So it's very important that everyone go ahead and start doing that as soon as you're done with your drawing. Try not to put too much detail in your flowers. Remember, all that detail that you make is going to be a lot of extra work when it comes to painting later, unless you want that. Okay, so if you'd like a challenge, that's fine. But it's our first day of class. It's okay, whatever you guys want to do. So you can begin tracing your lines. This part's easy because the lines are already there. And then once we're done tracing, what I'll ask you guys to do is to show me your pictures so I can just make sure we're all on the same page. And I'm just looking around the room to see how everyone's doing. If you have your parent working with you, because we have a couple of parents and me students that moved over to this class, parents, you guys can add extra little things into your picture to make it special so that you guys worked on it together. You can also help your student with things like color mixing. That's going to be coming up. You guys could be painting different steps together. So you can really make it a nice bonding experience together. Maybe one week I'll have my 4-year-old with me so you guys can meet her and we could do it parents and me style. Right now she's in school. She just started a little summer program, but it's only for the month. So there might be a couple classes where I can bring her. So I definitely want to see how these are coming out once you guys do your Sharpie part. How you doing, Sophie? I like your glasses. I see everyone working so hard. I love it. How you doing, Devin? Are you all finished with your Sharpieing? Devin, can I see your picture? You want to turn your camera around? I'd love to see how it came out. Oh, beautiful. All right. Oh, cool. Let's see it, Sophie. He's a big fat cat. I have one of those. I love big fat cats. Let's see his summer. Lovely. Very nice. Devin, the only thing you might want to do is you might want to complete that line to the end of your page, the one for your hammock. It's kind of an open space. When we go to paint later, it might be hard to paint inside that shape. Okay? Do you know what area I'm talking about in your picture? Do you want to show it to me again? I think it's in your hammock. There's just like a little line, and if you just draw that line, continue it to the edge of your paper, it'll be a real nice clean shape that you can paint inside of. Kind of like a coloring book a little bit, if that makes sense. And how are you doing, Isabella? Can I see your picture? I still want to, I don't want to move on without anyone. Okay, you got a little bit more work to do. That's okay. I'll give you guys another minute. You guys can finish your Sharpieing. Looks great, by the way, Isabella. All right, let's see. Is that Dominic's? Oh, very nice. Or is that Addie's? Addie's about to show me her. Wait a minute. Lucia, nice. Love it. Very nice. Oh, is someone teasing you, Addie? How are you doing, Summer? Did you already show me your picture? I think you did, right? Okay. And Sarah, did you want to show me yours? It's up to you. I never put any pressure. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Lovely. I love him. You did such a great job. All right. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I know that some of you guys are completing your Sharpieing. What I'm going to have you do, though, is look up for a minute. I'm going to show you how to put your paint on your palette. Okay? So I'm going to show you what I'm using for my palette today. You can use anything for your palette. I'm using, it's actually called palette paper. You definitely do not need to buy that. Okay? Basically, it's just these like waxy sheets of paper. But you can use a paper plate. You can use an egg carton. You can use a piece of paper. You can use a piece of cardboard. You don't need to buy anything fancy is my point. All right, so this is going to be where I put my paints. All right, I'm going to show you the colors you need, and I'll give you guys a few minutes to set up. So you don't have to do it right along with me. You can watch me first. I'll just show you how I do mine. So I have some yellow. I always put out less than I think I need because I can always put out more paint. But if I put out too much, it becomes a waste, and I try not to waste. Okay? So after I pour it out, I'm going to put my bottle to the side. It's handy. It's nearby. So if I need more, I can always grab it. I know we have different paint colors from each other. So whatever you have is fine. I have a few different greens. This is kind of a blue-green. If you don't have that color, that's okay. All right. I like to put them in color order. It doesn't always work out that way, but I do try. Now I have a darker green. Again, I just put out a little bit. I might need more later, and if I do, I'll just pour out more. Okay, so that's why we keep our paints handy. Now we have a blue, kind of a deep blue. Whatever blue you have is fine. I don't have an orange, and our cat is orange. What do you think I'm gonna have to do? For me, I'm gonna have to mix the color. If you have orange, you can put it out. I'm gonna put out some red. I'll show you guys how to mix some colors. And let me see. I think sometimes less is more when it comes to making your paint palette. So I'll show you guys how to put out your paint colors. No one's knocking at my door. That's me trying to get my paint to come to the front of my tube. Go away, we don't want any. Just kidding. I'm just trying to get my paint to come out. It's stuck, it's like ketchup. There you go. You need a little bit of black too. I usually put my black and white in the center. So my way that I like to do it, and you definitely can do it your own way, but what I like to do is make kind of a circle with my colors, and then I put black and white in the middle of my circle. It didn't really happen that way today. It's not a big deal. All right. So let me check in with you guys. You're going to want to start putting out your paints pretty soon. We should start painting in the next 5 minutes or less because we do have a lot of painting to do, and I want to make sure I'm not going too over time. We might go a couple minutes over time. I'll let you guys know if and when that happens. I know that you guys might have other things to do right after, so if you needed to tune out right on time, you can. But sometimes we might go 5-10 minutes over just to make sure everyone completes the project the way they want. But I will be sending everyone the video of this later on, so you can always look back if you missed the end for any reason. And then once you have your paint palette set up, just show me. The other thing you're going to need is a couple different paintbrushes. And I know I sent this in the email, so I'm sure you guys have these things. So I have these paintbrushes. I'll talk about them. I know you can't even really see them probably. I have a really thin one. This is a super thin paintbrush. That's for detail work. So you should have a real skinny one. Okay? You really just need a skinny one and a medium one. So this is my medium brush. I know it's not even in the picture. There it is. It's a medium brush. So I'll show them next to each other. thin, medium. I also have a bigger brush. And I have an extra thin brush. Sometimes I just appreciate having an extra brush around. That's all. And I have a soup container for my water. And I just drop my paintbrushes right inside. And I have my paper towel. Okay, so that'll be for cleaning brushes in between. Okay. And once you have your paints out, just check in with me because I don't want to move on before you guys are ready. Great. Awesome, Sophie. Very, very good, Summer. How you doing, Sarah? You have your paints? Okay. Sophie, you got yours? You did, you showed me yours. Isabella, do you have your paints? Or are you still Sharpieing?
I have my paint.
Okay. Lucia, what about you? You have your paints ready? Okay. Devin, you have your paints ready? I just want to make sure before I move on. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to start painting. We're going to go real simple first. Simple as we can. I'm going to show you guys some color mixing. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to mix the color for the water. And I'm going to show you how to paint it. I'm going to show you my methods so that you can learn the best way to do this. Okay. So if you look at my paper here, you're going to take a good amount, like a big scoop of blue. I'm going to mix a separate pile. Add some white to it. That came out very, very, very light. I'm going to add more blue to it. I am definitely going to have to put more blue on my palette later. I'm going to add a tiny bit of green. Tiniest bit. See what that does. Maybe a tiny bit more green. Less is more. I always add a little bit at a time. This is the color I'm looking for the water. If your color is different than mine, that's okay. I'm looking at the screen. I can't even tell on the screen how this color looks different than that one because of the quality of my camera. It's just not that good. But the color I just mixed is slightly greener than this. That's all. Whatever color you come up with is fine. Okay? I'm going to show you my techniques. What I'm going to do is dip my brush, my medium brush, in water. Water is the medium that we use with acrylic paint to make it more fluid. So what I'm going to do is take my brush in water and kind of mix it. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to put my palette to the side for a second so that I can paint. And I'm going to show you my techniques here. Okay, so just watch me first. So I'm using my medium. Oh my goodness, I just painted the wrong area. I can't believe I just did that. This is supposed to be pink. Oh my goodness. All right, that's okay. That happened. I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, forget I just did that. I painted on my hammock, whoops, instead of my water. That was silly, right? Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry. Paint will dry, take like 10 minutes or so. So I'll make this like the last thing that I paint so that by the time I paint on that, it'll be dry and I can paint right over it. Even Miss Michelle makes mistakes, right? Okay, back to my picture here. So it's the water. It's gonna be the stuff below the hammock and on top of it. All right. So maybe just watch me first. Now I'm using a big brush here to fill in the big areas. Okay, do you notice I'm not really going up to the line? I'm not going up to the line because I have a thin brush that will do that. So I'm not using my thin brush right now because that would be like painting a house with a toothpick, which would be silly. I'm going to use my thin brush for the detail areas in a minute. So I'm going to use that to clean up all this stuff. So this is a real quick part. What I'm doing is I'm dipping in my paint color and I'm just blotting in all my water parts. I'm doing it very quickly almost a little bit haphazardly. That's okay. But I'm not painting up to my line because I'm going to be using a thin brush to do that in a minute. This way I can make sure it comes out neat. So this is one of my tricks. So this part is quick. I know I'm moving faster than you, that's okay. As a teacher, it's my job to be one step ahead of you sometimes so that you guys can see where you're going to. That's all. I'm not rushing anyone. And again, you can always look back at the video later if you need to touch up an area. So I call this blotting in or blocking in. Okay? So I just blocked in the color. It looks really messy. Looks like a 3-year-old did it, right? Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use that same color. Now I'm using my thin brush. Now, with my thin brush, I can go right up to my edge. If I paint outside my lines, that's a little deal. It's not a big deal at all. No pressure on yourself here. So now I'm going up to my lines. So you see, I'm painting right up to my lines now. If your paint's starting to get dry, just add a little bit of water to it. Water's gonna make it very fluid. That means looser, wetter, so that you can use your brush more effectively. This is where I start getting a little bit lost in my painting. My mind starts to drift. I start to dream a little bit. So you can daydream while you're making your picture. And it's not about how it comes out. It's about the joy while you're painting, having fun. If you're doing this with a parent, it's about bonding. It's about enjoying time together, doing an activity. So parents can definitely help paint if you're doing this as a parent and me. I'm fixing up this area here. I'm putting another layer of paint. You can always go back and put another coat. And I know if you haven't taken a virtual class before, this can be a very different way of learning. It's extremely different than if we were in the classroom together. I can't always see what you guys are working on. And sometimes it's hard for me to know what step you're at. That's why I constantly check in. So now I can paint right up to my edge here. See what I'm, oh, you can't even see because it's not on the screen. There we go. Okay, I just want to show you how I'm doing around my flowers now. Then here's where I'm using my real thin brush. And just doing my best painting in between my shapes. I know my hand might be in the way and you probably can't see. All right, so I'm just gonna check in with you guys. See how everyone's doing. Great work. Great. Yeah, that did everything, Devin. That was perfect, the way that you filled in that line. So now you have a shape to paint inside of. Looks perfect. Ooh, Isabella, I like your background. Are you guys in space? I just noticed. That's a really cool thing that you can do on Zoom. Very nice, Dominic. All right. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to mix the sky blue for the sky. It's slightly different to me. So I haven't shown you guys the sky yet. I'm going to mix a slightly different kind of blue for that. All right. Oh, let me see there. Sophie, let me see. Ooh, nice. And you're working on a canvas. Anytime you guys can work on a canvas instead of a piece of paper. I gave you guys that supply list because I wanted to keep it affordable. But if you have a canvas around your house, you're welcome to use that. So it's always suggested. That's all. Okay, I'm going to show you. You might just want to look up. I have to put more of my blue paint down because I already used mine up. I'm going to put another little pile. Okay, I'm using my white. This is going to be a lighter blue. So I usually use a big brush for mixing. You can't even see my brush in the screen. There I am. Trying to show you, and my brush doesn't make it in the screen. Okay. So it's a much lighter blue for the sky. I think that actually might be perfect, just like that. It's very, very, very pale blue. Okay, I'm going to bring my picture back. If you already did your sky different, that's fine. You could ignore me. All right. Again, I'm going to do it the same way where I'm going to paint using my big fat brush first. But I'm not going to go right up to my line. I'm going to use my thin brush for that. I'm just kind of blocking in my color. This is really the way I always do it. I went outside my line there. It's not a big deal. Okay, so blocking in color is a very easy way to fill in a space fast, which is basically sometimes our goal, so that we can finish a project in the amount of time that we have. And it's just an effective way to do it is all. So I'll just show you. Now, if you want to choose completely different colors that I'm doing, that's fine. Everything I show you is simply a suggestion. We're here to have fun though. So if you want to make yours different, you can. Okay, so I'm going right up to my lines with my thin brush here. So my sky blue is just slightly different than the color down here. I think the next thing I'm going to do is my hammock. That part that I painted the wrong color before. That'll be the next thing that we paint. But we're not doing it yet. Just letting you know where we're going. I'm just fixing up my color. What I think I'm going to do while I wait for you guys is I'm going to come back to my blue that's down here. And I'm going to just very quickly put a second coat in a few areas. It came out a little bit light in a few areas because I used a lot of water. So I'm just going to really quickly brush over. That's a way to get rid of some of those brush strokes if you want. Don't have to do it. I'm just choosing to because I have the time right now and I want to. So I'm just kind of fixing up. That's all. Okay. Let me check in with you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to mix the color of the hammock. I don't want to move too fast. It looks like everyone's still painting, right? So I'll give you guys a minute. Addie, are you all finished with all your painting so far? It's up to you if you want to show me. Hey, Kristen. Sarah, did you get messy? It happens. Pretty much every art class, I find paint all over my arms, my face. Usually if it's on my face, it means I had a really good painting day. All right. Just looking around. All right. Great, Sophie. I love how it's coming out. And checking in. How are you doing, Summer? Lucia, how are you doing? Do you want to show me your picture? Okay. Oh, great. All right, perfect. I'm going to show you guys how to make the color for the hammock. You can make your hammock a different color if you want. I'm going by the picture. Please feel free to make yours your own. All right. We're just going to use one color at first. The hammock has polka dots. We're going to do those polka dots very last. That'll be the last thing we do today. So my brush is dirty. I take my brush out of the water and I'm going to just pat it on my paper towel to get rid of the color that was in it so it doesn't contaminate. All right. I did not put out a purple. It's like a very light pink purple. I'm going to grab a scoop of red, some white, a whole bunch of white actually, and a little tiny bit of blue. The color is a little bit lighter than this. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. So it's mostly red with a touch of blue and a scoop of white, maybe a little more white. Depends on how light you want to make it. Don't make it too light because we're going to put white polka dots in it also. So once you get your color to a color that you like, you can go ahead and blot in the color for your hammock. This is dry. I'm going to paint right over it. So if you make a boo-boo like I did, that's okay. We can fix a lot of things in art. It's not as quick as pressing edit undo. Sometimes I wish there was an edit undo button in my paintings, but there isn't. So I always recommend working mindfully, working slowly. Don't feel rushed. Take your time. And this way you can think out what you're doing. Basically the opposite of what I did before. Okay, again, I did not paint up to my edge because I'm going to be using my small brush. This is my trick. Again, I'm going to wipe my brush down to get rid of all the color that was in there. This is my thin brush. Just looking at this. And now I'm going to start painting around the shapes. I painted right over my whiskers. That's okay. Remember I told you guys that's more like a blueprint than anything else. We're going to be using black paint at the end to redraw or repaint some of those lines. Not all of them, just a few though. And you can even see a little bit of the blue underneath from where I painted before. So I actually like it. I'm happy with it. Sometimes your quote unquote mistakes become the thing that makes your picture more interesting. I hear my birds chirping outside my window. Love it. Sounds of summer. So I accidentally painted a little bit inside of my shape over there. That's okay, because when we paint these green later for the leaves, I can fix that up. So don't let those little mistakes bug you too much. It's no big deal. So I'm gonna use my brush and I have more of this color. I'm gonna put a second coat just to kind of fill in some of the areas. All right. Checking in with you all. Anyone want to show me where they're at? All right, Devin. Great. All right, Dominic. Awesome. And Addie, do you want to show me where you're at? Wait a minute. Was that Addie's picture? His picture?
No, it's not my picture.
Oh, okay. Addie, do you want to show me yours?
My mom, my picture's already starting to dry in the kitchen, and my brother's is too. Well, I already finished, but I'm
Okay.
I already finished. Okay, too.
That's all right. However you guys want to manage it is great. We'll just have fun. Awesome. And checking in on my friend Summer. How are you doing? Great. Looking good. Sarah, do you want to show me where you're at? Or Isabella, do you want to show me where you're at? Just so I can see. Great. Looking good. All right. Sophie, very good. Okay. Lucia, how are you doing? Did I already ask you? I don't want to leave anyone out. Give you guys like another minute or so, and then I'll show you guys our next part. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Okay. Got one. I'm not trying to rush anyone. Isabella. Sophie, you look like you're just about right there. Sarah, remember you can make your hammock any color. It doesn't have to be the color that I said before. Great. Oh, looking good. Okay. All right. I'm just going to show you guys how to mix our next color. It's actually very easy. We're going to be mixing the color for the green in our picture. There's a couple areas of our picture. We're going to use the same green for all these different areas. Okay? So it's like the top part of our mountains, and it's going to be within our palm tree a little bit. All right. So again, I cleaned my brush. I dipped in the water. I kind of tapped the bottom of my soup container, and then I tap my paper towel. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I have this really nice deep green here. This is a dark green. I know it looks like black on there, but it's not. It's just dark green. And I'm going to mix a good amount of yellow. So it's going to be a very grass green. See? And you can add different amounts of yellow, different amounts of green. If you don't have green, you can always use blue and yellow and make a green. Maybe I'll add a little of this to it, see what it does. So you guys can play. I'm going to show you how I'm going to use my green now. So again, I use water in my, I add a little bit of water to my paint color to make it more fluid. So I just put the water in my paintbrush and then I Kind of brush it around the circle. Okay, do the same thing I've been doing. It's very easy to blot in colors using a big brush. Just don't go too close to your edges is all. Now this color is coming out a little bit translucent. That means that you can see through it a little bit. Opaque means that it's not see-through. Transparent means that it's completely see-through, like a piece of glass. This is translucent. It's somewhere in the middle. Since it's translucent, it's going to need a second coat after it dries, of course. Now I'm going to use my thin brush. I'm going to go up to my edges again. Oh no, my little camera just fell. It almost fell right into my painting. All right. So I told you guys I was going to do a second coat. I'm not going to do that quite yet because I need to use my green in one other part. This part I am going to right away use my thin brush. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but there I am. This is my thinnest brush. I'm going to be using that within my palm tree. I'm just following along with this picture. So the way I interpret it is that it's outlined with green. So the middle part of the palm tree leaves are going to be yellow. The outside of them is this green. And we're going to clean everything up later. If it doesn't look perfect right now, that's okay. And there's no such thing as perfect anyway. We're going to be doing some fun detail-y stuff at the end to make our pictures look spectacular. And they will, I promise. So if you look, I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my camera over to this so you can see. I just kind of outlined my leaves. I outlined inside of them, not outside of them, if that makes sense. Okay. And I'm just going to really quickly show you what I'm going to do inside the leaves. And you can do this in your own time at your own pace, but I'm just going to show you right now. I'm going to go straight into my yellow, not going to mix it with anything. And what I'm going to do is paint the inside of my leaves with the yellow. Since you just painted the green, you might even be able to get a little bit of a blendy effect. Play, have fun.
Michelle,
Yes.
is it okay if you don't put yellow on the inside?
Is it okay if you don't put yellow on the inside?
Yeah.
Of course it's okay. Yeah, just have fun. So if you want to make yours different, you definitely can. I'm just showing you how the step-by-step how to make this specific painting, but you're welcome to change things up. And I'll just show you some fun things along the way is all. Okay. And checking in with you guys. How are you doing, Sarah? You want to show me where you're at? Looking great. And you're keeping up so well. You're doing awesome. See the mommy-daughter teams. Love it. And Devin, how are you doing? I think he might have stepped away for a minute. That's okay. If you guys have to use the bathroom, you can just step away. And Lucia, how are you doing? Want to show me? All right. Looking good. And checking in with Isabella.
It looks like this.
Looking great. Looking great. Oh, cool. I love that, Summer. Nice color for your hammock. All right, you guys are all being super playful, and I love it. Okay. So we have this area underneath our mountains. It's kind of a pink in the picture. It's like a bright pink. You can make it different if you want to. To make that bright pink, though, oh, you know what? I need more white. I ran out of white. Yeah, let me go put more white in my palette. There we go. Just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. We don't need a lot of color for this. So we take a scoop of red and a touch of white. Literally a touch of white. That's perfect, actually. Just like that. So that's your bright pink. Oh, you can't even see what I just did because I wasn't in the screen. Sorry. So it's just a scoop of red and the smallest amount of white. It's going to give you that really bright pink that you're after for this part. If you want to make it this color, you don't have to. You guys are free. Okay. And I'm going to use that same color inside my coconuts. They're pink in this picture. The picture's starting to really come together. Perhaps you want to use some of that red or that pink inside of your flowers. I'm going to let you guys design your flowers on your own. So maybe that's a part that you want to do with some of these colors that you mixed. I'm going to go ahead and use some of my red. Or it's not red, it's like a pink that I just mixed. Play, 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 play. You guys are so free. I can even make my flowers different color if I want to. And you can mix some of that, you can use some of that green that you mixed, that you already have, for the leaves if you like. You can decide what color the center of your flower is. And I'm just using my skinny brush here because this is a very like small area, so it makes sense to use a thin brush. Cleaning my brush off and thinking about what color I'll use for the inside of my flowers. I think blue for me. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and use my green to fill in the leaves for the flowers. I'm using my paint in a more translucent way. There's a lot of water mixed in. I like that for this part. You can paint your way. You don't have to do it the same as me. So to achieve that, all I did was mix a lot of water in with the color. Acrylic paint is kind of like the chameleon of paints. You can use it and make it look like watercolor by mixing in a lot of water with it. Or if you use it in a thicker way with less water, it can look more like oil paint. So it can do multiple things. So it's just super fun to play. I think my 4-year-old just got home from her day at school. I just heard the door on the car. Okay, so I did that part. Just moving this over so you can see the different parts of my painting. We have our kitty. I'm gonna mix an orange for the cat. I don't have an orange here, so I have to mix my own. But before we do that, do you guys want to all show me very fast where you're at? We are going to go a little over time too. All right. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you that orange. So to make orange, all we need is red and yellow. So the stripes on the cat, I'm going to do later. So the cat is not hard, but it might be a little bit more challenging than the other things we've painted because we're only going to paint certain areas of him. So I'm going to show you, right up here. My paints are a little runny, so I just don't want them to run. So I'm going to use a scoop of my yellow and a scoop of red and some white. Maybe a little more yellow. A little bit of white in there. Oh, I just got a little green in there. That's okay. It'll make my color even more interesting. Okay. So painting the same, well, similar. So I'm not going to paint the tail yet. I'm just going to paint inside this little body. Now you can mix a good amount of this orange because we're going to be using the same orange for the tree. So I want to leave his paws white. My cat has the same kind of coloring. He's an orange cat with white paws. So I left his paw white, okay? Also, the tip of his tail is also white. So what I can do is start painting the tail, just leave the tip. I painted over my Sharpie lines, no big deal, because we're gonna be using black paint to fix up some of this later. Okay, now for the face is a little different. So you might wanna just look up now, even if you're not at this part yet. Just moving it more into the screen. Okay, what I'm going to do is paint kind of like an upside down triangle. I'm gonna leave the bottom of his face white, okay? The rest of his face, I'm gonna paint except for his ears. Those are gonna stay white as well. And I'm gonna use my thin brush here. I think my crew just got home. Yeah, they're home. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Mom. Hi, baby. Aww. Okay, so that's all I'm actually doing with our cat right now. With the rest of my orange paint, ooh, I love your outfit. Did Grandma go shopping for you? Sorry, my 4-year-old's chatting with me. I love it. Okay. So What I'm going to do is use my bigger brush now, again, and I'm going to be painting inside of my palm tree, the whole palm tree, with the rest of my orange paint. I know I'm kind of doing a close-up thing. I'll zoom out again in a minute. And we have some fun detail stuff that we'll do next. So I'm just painting inside my tree with this orange. After you're done with this step, it should look like your picture is all painted inside of for the most part. And now we'll be ready for our details. I shouldn't say should, because everyone's working at their own pace, and that's great. I have extra paint. I'm going to do a second coat. Okay, so that's finished. There's a little bit more detail work to do in our tree. We're going to do that in a few minutes. What I'm going to do, uh-oh, something happened. Uh-oh, I got to get back. I logged out by accident. I got to come back. Just give me a second. Why did I just do that? I pressed something. Looking for the link. Sorry, it's like going really slow. It's like my internet's slow in my house or something. Okay, I'm gonna let myself back in. Aha, here I am. There we are. So I'll just show you what my picture is looking like so far. And I'm gonna show you guys how to add those little details that are gonna make your picture really come together. It's okay if you do this stuff in your own time. It's okay if you continue painting after we're finished. I'm gonna take about 10 more minutes with you guys, okay? And I'm just gonna show you the different things. And then you guys are welcome to paint on your own. So I'm gonna use my really thin brush. To make those polka dots, I just wiped my thin brush. I'm gonna dip directly in my white paint. And I'm just gonna make little dots. And you can't see what I'm doing. This is one of the challenges of teaching this way, is that I have to have my tripod set up so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And there's always little issues that happen.
I'm finished.
Who's finished?
I am.
Do you want to show me where you're at? How it came out? Beautiful. You know what I'd love? There's one more thing, and it's optional, but you might want to stick with us and do it. I was going to show you guys how to use a thin black line and outline a couple things. Why don't you stay with us for another minute or two, and we'll do a little group picture at the end. What do you think? Unless you have somewhere to go, it's okay. All right. So I'm just going, I'd like to do like a little group picture at the very, very end, if possible. And I understand if people have to leave a little early. And I know I am over time. So I'm just going, making my polka dots. using my thin brush to do it. And there's a little bit more with our cat and our palm tree. What drink does she have, Mom? That's okay. Oh, is it one of mine? She can have a little bit. Okay. So for the lines on your cat's body, what I'm going to do is actually use a straight red. Okay. I'll just show you. So you can make some little lines inside his body. And there's a couple around his face. And there's some on his leg. If you have a striped tabby cat like this, you know what I mean. He's got some also on his tail. Oh, he's got a couple on his head too. These types of cats, they call them M heads because if you look at their markings on their head, it looks like the shape of an M. Okay. And now back to my palm tree. There's just a couple little lines and you can use your red to do that. I'm literally just making a couple red lines. And I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to focus my little cam here. Oh no, it's focused on the wrong thing. Here we are, kind of. I'm just gonna hold it. How's that sound? Might be better. Okay, so I'm just kind of putting some lines. So we're pretty much done. This next step's optional, but I'm gonna show you it anyway. What I'm doing is I'm taking my thinnest brush, getting it super wet. I'm gonna dry it just a little bit. Keep a little bit of water in there. Okay? And what I'm gonna do is pull the brush, and I'm pulling it into a very sharp shape. So you might be able to do this. I'm kind of reworking the tip of my brush to make it super duper 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 sharp. Okay? And what I'm gonna do is add a little tiny bit of water to my black paint. So you guys all have a black pile that we really haven't used yet. So I'm gonna add some water to it to make it more fluid. All right, so this is my tip on how to kind of finish your picture. You can do this later. You can do it with me, however you want. So add some water to your paint. It's gonna make it more fluid. I think I'm actually gonna use my other thin brush for this part. I like it better. Okay, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to pick and choose a few areas to do this in. So not your whole painting, because you'll be here till the cows come home. Just pick a few areas that you think could use a little bit of outlining, or grab an adult to help you with this step if you want. And I'm just gonna go over some of those lines that we lost. This is kind of a fun way to complete your painting. You don't have to do it. And you can do it later or not at all. I'm mostly just gonna do my cat because I feel like some of the lines got a little bit lost. Or another thing you could do is wait until your picture dries and use your Sharpie again. Okay, so I just did my little kitty cat. Look how much better he looks, right? And I'm also gonna do my hammock. So I guess I lied. I'm doing a little bit more than I originally planned. So I'm gonna just outline a few areas here. So this is a good step for the parents. If you're doing this as parent and me, I'm gonna leave my flowers alone. They look good as they are. Sometimes we can accidentally overwork our pictures. We don't want to do that either. I'm gonna do around my palm tree too. Okay, and I think I'm also going to do my mountain tops. I'm going to leave my palm tree top alone. I'll show you one more thing that's in our picture. So with that same thin brush, you should still have some white. This is the last thing I'm going to do. You can dip right in your white, put a couple squiggles in your water. It's going to make it look more like water. In the picture, they even have the horizon line painted white like this. So a lot of times it's these finishing details that make your picture look awesome. So you might want to think about doing some of these. Put a couple little lines. Okay. So I'm going to take my tripod off. Something just happened, of course.
Michelle,
Yeah. Yes.
for a second your painting was like kind of paused.
Yeah, I know. I accidentally touched something on my phone and I had to join the meeting again. That's happened 2 times already. So it's like little technical issues happen with me sometimes. But I thank everyone for your patience. So I'm just holding my camera over the picture so you guys can see. And I'll stay with you guys for another minute. Is anyone done? Happy? Finished? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Awesome. Cool. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my picture up a little bit. This is great. So I'm going to be leaving you guys in a minute. I will be sending you guys the video. In the meantime, I'd like to do a screenshot in about, I guess, 10 seconds or so. So if you're able to, can you show me your picture? Can you hold up, even if it's not complete? Can you hold it up? And I'll tell you when to take it down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. I'm about to take it. Hold on, don't go anywhere. One. Guys, these look so great. I am so impressed. You guys did fantastic. All right, so give me a couple hours and I will be sending you guys the video from today. All right, thank you so much. Talk to you later, everyone.